What's going on, people? Just a thought. Just a thought. I say growing up for years and years, one of my main goals that I thought about was, typical American dream. Buy a house, nice yard, picket fence, all that good stuff. But as I get older and I learn more about, how that whole operation works, I think about, the difference between renting and owning. Because people always would say, especially when it comes to buying a house, that the mortgage is a lot more cheaper than rent, which is true. But there's other things that come with it that people don't really pay attention to. Now, for a long time, I have been renting, but I understand that when you do pay rent, that actually covers the maintenance as well as the taxes. So what you're basically paying for is one to stay in the house or whatever, or wherever you stay at, and also to maintain it. Meaning anything goes wrong in the house, you're just a phone call away, and you can get whatever handled. Yet if you own the house, okay, let's see, say you got a leaking roof, and you're renting the house, you just call, the maintenance and they come fix the roof. Whereas if you own the house and the roof is leaking, now you got to hire some people to come fix it. And I gave it some thought, and it's almost like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. But you want to make the smarter decision based on some of the possibilities, some of the things that could go wrong. One thing I would tell anybody is if you're gonna buy a house, make sure that you find a way to turn it into an asset, because if you're buying a house just to buy a house, that's not an asset. It's a liability, meaning it's taking money out of your pocket. If you're going to get a house, you want to make sure that it's something that you can use to benefit from it financially, and it's not breaking you. Only because one thing is, I've realized this too, and it's like you will never literally own the house that you purchase. Meaning, let me correct that. You would buy the house, but you would own the house itself, but you would never own the land, because there's land taxes that you have to pay all the time, and it doesn't matter how long you've owned the house, how many years you've paid on it. The second you're not paying the taxes, you lose your house. So, and that's forever. You always owe property tax. So it's like, the second that you're not paying your taxes, they'll take your house like you never paid for it. And that's one of the things I always kind of thought about. It's like, okay, you may own the actual house, but you'll never own the land it's on. You'll never own the land that the house is on, because the government owns that. So you're paying taxes on the land. And the second that you can't pay taxes, they take it back. So, and I've witnessed this. With my dealings in real estate, I've seen people that have had houses for 30 years or more, or between 20 and 30 years. They've had this house, they've owned this house, and things happen, life happens. They weren't able to pay the taxes, and they lost their house. So it's just like, at the end of the day, how much is it worth buying a house? And the mortgage is cheaper, I'll give you that. But before you pay the lower mortgage, how much you putting down? You putting down at least 10%. So if you're buying a house that's, I don't know, example, $100,000, or 200,000, you're putting 10,000, 20,000 down before you even start paying the mortgage. Whereas if you're renting, you have security deposit, and which a lot of times is just the month of rent, 2 months of rent up front, that you can get back when your lease is up. Whereas you put the 10 to 20,000 down on the house, and things happen, and you end up getting foreclosed on, you don't get the money back. And the thing is, you make it an asset, so anything that you do on the house, it's a write off. And whether you have like a home office, or you're doing your business out your house, that's the best way to do it. because you have to make sure, that the house is being used for proper reasons to, you know, to maintain profit, stuff like that. Excuse me. But like I was saying, man, and I'm not against purchasing a house, but you just have to have a plan put together on what you want to do with the house, because it could be a liability real quick. And you so caught up on wanting to own a house, having that as your major goal, where you don't really see the reality of a lot of it. you know and me myself, I don't own a house at this point, but if it came to it, I would have to put a plan in place to make sure that the house is going to be an asset. Because a lot of things that's going on with the house is that you're not that you're unaware of, that you would have to fit the bill. You know what I mean? Anything breaks down, you gotta pay. You gotta come out of your pocket. You gotta be ready for that. A lot of things going with a house that people are unaware of, and then when you actually own the house, you start to realize like, hey, something goes wrong. I gotta fix it myself. Whereas, one thing I noticed from renting is that, the toilet breaks down, any electricity breaks down, or problems with the heating, I make a phone call, they come fix it. It's not like I gotta search somebody and I gotta price them out and figure out who has the best deal, who has the best service. It's already lined up, and it's like, at the end of the day, that's a little bit more than actually owning the house and have to trying to figure it out yourself. But that's just a thought for the day. Share, like, subscribe. Any questions, shoot me a comment, whatever. I appreciate y'all. See you when I see you. And, if you buy a house, make sure you turn it into an asset. Don't have it being a liability, because you don't own the land that the house is on. You'll never own that. You have to pay on that whether you own the house or not. So if you're going to do it, be smart about it. Make it into an asset. That way, everything that you're doing is worth, you getting from the house. So that's kind of what I aim to do if it came to it. All right, peace. See you when I see you.